Hare Krishna, dear devotees, let us chant one round of japa, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, 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 Ram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रीमद् भागवत गीता एज इट इज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all. We are going to recite a new verse. We have memorized up to 10, 11. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. So now let's memorize the next two verses. They come together, the famous but I'll open it in Bhagavad Gita. This is the Shloka book. I'll open it in Bhagavad Gita. 10, 12, and 13. Okay, please repeat. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshirnaradastatha. Sapriya. Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshirnaradastatha. Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshirnaradastatha. Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Yes. So now you can recite. Does anyone need to go first? Madhava. Okay, 1 second. Let me do the setting. Priyanka Mataji also. Let me do the settings so that you can see the whole thing at a time. I'll take out the synonyms and the Devanagari. Actually, no Devanagari, no synonyms. Just for now, so that you can see the verse and translation together. Even then it is tight. Okay, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshir Naradastatha Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Translation. Arjun said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirmed this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Madhava.
Astral Saya Sarve Devarsanarastata Asito Devalo Vyakaha Swayam Chaivaga Arjuna said, "What should be in personality of God? The element of both, the absolute truth. You are the transcendental earthly person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages that Narada, Asita, Deva, and Vyasa come from this truth of truth. You and now you yourself are the creator."
Okay. Lokesh. I'm not able to hear you.
Can you hear me now, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I can hear now.
Yeah, sorry, Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Uvacha Parabrahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vipum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the
Truth.
absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Lokesh.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahastam Rashaya Sarve Deva Devashe Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, and the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, the original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the sages such as Narada, all the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhu is not available.
Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vipum Ahastvam Rasya Sarve Deva
Rishaya Sarve.
Ahastvam
Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve.
Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Deva Rishir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Pravisime. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Can Medha say to Mataji?
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Saswatam Divyam Adidevam Majam Vipum Ahusvam Rishaya Sarve Devarishir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasakha Swayam Cheva Bhavisi Me. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Thank you. Okay, so we'll now go in order. Achyut Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Saswatam Dinyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustam Rasaya Sarve Devarshi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasam Swayam Chaiva Bhavishimi. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Achinta Dev Prabhu.
Mataji, I'll read towards the end.
Yeah. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Sashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustam Shaya Sarve Devarshir Naradas Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bhavishitme. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Mama Pavitram Param Bhavan Purusham Savatam Divyam Avidaivam Ajam Vibhum Ayastam Najastava Vasayana Radastha Asito Devalo Vyasa Savam Chaiva Bhavasi Me
Ravish.
Ravish Me Musician. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, and the unborn, the great. All of sages such as Narada, Sita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Done? Your volume was low, so I couldn't.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Inba? Inya?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustam Rishaya Sarve Devashid Nardastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Shaiva Bravishime. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirmed this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Inia,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayas Sarve Devarshir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Shaiva Bravishime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it.
Mataji Prabhuji. Not there?
Mataji will say the thing.
No? Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Adgoshi Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Agastvam Rishaya Sarve Deva Rishir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Shaiva Bravishime. Translation of Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring to me."
Thank you. Okay,
Hare
so
Krishna Mataji, Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham
Bhavan.
Sashvatam Bhavan Purusham Sashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rasa
Rishaya.
Rishaya Sarve Devarshir Naradas-tatha Ashito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Pravishime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Ashita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me." Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Isha.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Jaiva Bhavishime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Yeah. Krishna Shish.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Adhustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradasatha Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Shaiva Pravisme. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Rasapriya.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Yasaya Sarve Devarshi Naradasthatha Asita Deval Vyasa Swayam Sarva Pravishude. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshi Naradasthatha Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Cheva Bravishimani. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nilambari Radha Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, what to do?
Read the shloka Mataji.
Oh, okay. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Abhustvam Rashaya Sarve Devarshi Narada Tatha Ashito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Translation. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Ashita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Sadhguru.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam
Rishaya.
Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshir Naradasthatha Ashito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. bravishime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Ashita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it." Hare Krishna.
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Parantama Pavitram Paramam Pan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradattata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bhavishime. Hare Krishna.
Translation, Mataji.
Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asta, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring to me." Hare Krishna. This is Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. So let's try to understand what's going on here. So this 10th chapter is entitled The Opulence of the Absolute, and in the beginning itself Krishna said that I'm going to tell you what I already told you, and I'm going to tell you something more. So that is his Aishwarya, his opulence. Whatever was spoken in the 9th chapter, the Lord is going to speak again, and he's going to tell something more than that also. And also we understood this is from, what I'm telling you is from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So always remember that, because Srila Prabhupada's purport is based on Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary. So this is additional. So you'll see from both angles. We are already reading the purports. We completed reading all the purports of the 18 chapters. We are going to start with the introduction today again. So we will begin Bhagavad Gita one more time. But along with the purports, while reading purports, when we memorize the verses, I am giving you the commentary given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So you'll get both angles from Baladev Vidyabhushan, Srila Prabhupada's purports, and also you'll understand Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So here, in the beginning, the Lord said he will speak about his opulences. And in the last four verses that we studied, 10, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Texts 8, 9, 10 and 11 are called Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. In these four shlokas, the Lord is talking about his opulence. 10:8 said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah. Like that. And then 10:9 matchitta madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Then 10:10 Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. And 10:11 Tesham evanu kampartham aham agyanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. So the Lord is giving the entire Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell in these four verses. So how he is the source of everything that is created, everything that is manifested is actually springing from him. He is the source of everything. And then what do his devotees do? In that verse itself it is said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Anyone who knows this about the Supreme Lord, who knows the opulence of the Supreme Lord, that everything is coming from him, what will he do? He will engage in bhakti, pure devotional service, bhava samanvita, with great affection. He will be worshipping the Supreme Lord. And then, uh, what is the nature of that person, right, who understands the Supreme Lord? How does he worship the Supreme Lord? Matchitta, madgata prana, bodhayantah parasparam. So he's always, and they're such devotees, they're completely, their chitta is completely absorbed in the Supreme Lord, and their life is sustained by devotional service to the Lord. Their life is not sustained by food or anything. Their life is sustained by devotional service to the Lord. And they enlighten each other about by discussing Krishna Leela, the Lord's pastimes, the Lord's qualities, names, like that. Bodhayantah parasparam. Bodhayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So we discuss that elaborately. And then tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurokam dadami buddhi yogam tam. So then when one reaches to this stage, after he's performing pure devotional service like that, matchitta madgata prana, he's doing like that, then at one point the Lord out of his sweet will wants to reveal himself to this devotee, reveal himself, so he enters into the buddhi vritti of this devotee, and that entering is called dadami buddhi yogam tam. The Lord is entering into buddhi vritti so that this devotee can actually experience the Lord directly. And then the last verse said, Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jam tamaha. There is some darkness of ignorance. What is that ignorance in this stage? This is the charam sima, ultimate stage. He is already in prema, bhava prema also. But there is still something. What is that? He is hankering for that Bhagavad Sakshatkar, face to face. He wants to see the Lord, and he is doubting, will I ever get that? Will I get the Sakshatkar of Bhagavan? That doubt is there in his heart. So that doubt is also removed by the Lord. How? By the lamp. Jnana deepena bhasata. Here, that Jnana deepam, that Jnana is, or in other words, that lamp is itself knowledge, self-illuminating, right? That lamp. So what is that lamp? That knowledge is not, so there are two types of knowledge. I don't know if I told you this before. What are the two types of knowledge? First type of knowledge is by doing bhakti, you get some realizations about so many things. You get realization about this world and how everything is connected to the Lord, and you get realizations about the Lord also, isn't it? By doing Ananya Bhakti, you get all these realizations. That is Bhakti Jnanam. Bhakti Jnanam is different. That is first one. Here, this Jnana Deepena Bhasvata is not Bhakti Jnanam. This is directly the Lord, seeing the Lord, experiencing the Lord directly, seeing Him, or smelling Him, or tasting Him, or touching Him. So after hearing all these 4 verses, now Arjun got eagerness to hear more. He wants to ask Krishna to tell more, right? He's eager. That's not enough. These 4 verses, I want to hear it more elaborately. I want to hear it more. Simply in 4 verses, nutshell, no, I want more. Just like Parikshit Maharaj said, remember? I told you in the end of the 9th chapter, in 2 verses, Sukadev Goswami said the entire Krishna Leela. Krishna Leela, Balaram Leela, everything he finished in 2 verses. Actually, Krishna Leela. Then Parikshit Maharaj said he wants to hear again the same thing but in a more elaborate way. So like that Arjun is saying, then how to ask Krishna, please tell, I want to hear it more elaborately. Now he is glorifying Krishna. But how is he glorifying? Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. What is the next 2 verses? Pavitram, Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam.
Divyam.
Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. So, if you just remember the meanings of each of these words, you will know the translation by heart. So, Param Brahma means Sarvotkrishta. So, Brahma means what? Brahma means Chetana Padartha. Right? So, the living entity is Brahma, anything, the conscious being. There is Jada Padartha and Chetana Padartha. Chetana Padartha is Brahma. Param Brahma means the Supreme Brahma. Supreme Brahma. Sarvotkrishta Brahma. So now Arjuna is addressing Krishna, calling him Param Brahma. You are the ultimate Brahma. Then Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Now this is interesting. Dhama, according to Amarkosha dictionary, Dhama means, it can mean many things. It can mean, Dhama means abode, right? It can mean the place where one dwells, abode, house, griha. Or Dhama also means this body. So now Arjun is calling, just like he would call Krishna, he would say Krishna. Like that he's saying Param Dhama. He's calling Krishna Param Dhama. Dhama means body, and this body is Param Dhama, supreme body. And he's calling Krishna, oh supreme body. What does that mean? That means Krishna is his body. Because he's calling Krishna and he's saying, oh supreme body. Just like if I say, Vindhyavali Mataji, I am calling you. Right? So Arjuna is saying, Paramdhama, oh Paramdhama. That means, oh supreme body. Right? Now, can you call me? Can you call me body? Archana Mataji, body, can you say? No, I am not this body. But Krishna is his body. And what type of body? Not just Krishna is his body, yes, but his body is what type of body? Param Dhama, the topmost, supreme. Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Next one. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam. Again, Pavitram, Paramam. Everything is supreme about Krishna. Pavitram, Paramam. What does that mean? Now he is Param Dhama. He is that body, and that body is supreme. It is the supreme abode. It is the supreme, it is the highest, the greatest. And anyone who sees this body, which is Krishna, what happens to him? Pavitram. Because he is supremely pure, anyone who sees this body, all contaminations in his consciousness are removed and he becomes purified. Anyone who comes in contact with this supreme body, sees this body, what happens to him? All the contaminations in his consciousness are removed. He becomes purified. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Purusham Shashwatam. Of course, he's a person, Purusham. Shashwatam. Why Shashwatam? Same reason. Because he is his body. He is eternal. So his body is also eternal. It's not like for us, is our body eternal? No. I am the living entity, I am Tatastha Shakti. Whereas this body is Bahiranga Shakti. When we are in this material world, the living entity in the body is Tatastha Shakti, marginal energy. And the body is Bahiranga Shakti, external energy. That means I am different from my body. Now, when I become liberated and I go back to the spiritual world, there also the living entity will be Tatastha Shakti, and the living entity's body will be Antaranga Shakti, Swarupa Shakti. So even in the spiritual world, the living entity is different from his body. The living entity always remains Tatastha Shakti. In the material world, the living entity is Tatastha Shakti, whereas the body is Bahiranga Shakti. When he is in the spiritual world, he is still Tatastha Shakti. It's not that by going to the spiritual world now he becomes Swarupa Shakti. He does not become Swarupa Shakti. We will always remain Tatastha Shakti. But the body is Swarupa Shakti. Whereas Krishna's body and him are not different. So why we change bodies? We change bodies because this body is external energy. So we change bodies. Right? I am different from my body, so we change bodies. So the body is not eternal. Whereas Krishna and his body are not separate. So just as Krishna is eternal, we are eternal. The living entity is eternal. But the body is not eternal. But because Krishna and his body are not different, Krishna is eternal and his body is also eternal. Purusham Shashwatam Divyam, of course Divyam, transcendental. Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adi Devam. He is the original person from whom everything else is emanated. Aham evasam evagre. Lord Krishna tells Lord Brahma at the beginning of creation. Chatushloki Bhagavatam, first one. Or just now we read 10:8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Everything is emanating from me. That means before anything else came, he was there. Aham evasam evagre also means I was there before the creation. That means everything is coming from him. Adi Devam, he is the original person. He was there before and everything else has come after him. Adi Devam. Ajam, he does not have a birth. Vibhum, he is the greatest. So if you remember these words, the meanings of these terms, then you will know the translation. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Bhavan means you. Okay, Bhavan. Even in the first chapter, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha, Duryodhana is speaking. He is telling to Dronacharya, on my side, who all are there on my side? Bhavan. Bhavan means you. Dronacharya, you are there. Bhishmascha Karnascha. Bhishma is there, Karna is there. So Bhavan means you. So here also, Parabrahma, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam, Bhavan. Purusham, nay.
Purusham Shashwatam.
Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam, Vibhu. And then what is the next verse? Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve, Devarshir Naradastatha, Asito Devalo Vyasaha, Swayam Chaiva Bravishve. Okay, I am telling all this about you, I am glorifying you. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. So you may say, you may think that, oh, because Krishna is my friend, I am flattering, right? Like if you love someone very much, you can say anything. You can either flatter or you can say, out of love you can say, right? Even if it is false, you can say, Kana Chele Padmalochan, right? The son is blind, but out of affection, the mother names him Padmalochan, lotus-eyed, right? Actually, there is no meaning to that because he cannot see. But out of love, you can say, because mother's affection is like that. So we may think Arjun has so much affection for his friend. So Arjun is saying, oh, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, and all that, all kinds of things he's saying out of affection. Then will you take it seriously? Just like Kana Chale Padmalochan, will you take it seriously? Mother's affection. But you won't actually think that this boy is Padmalochan and you won't take it seriously. Therefore, Arjun is saying, no, these are not just my statements. All the authorities, Narad Muni, Asita, Devala, Vyasadev, they have all said that they have concluded the same thing. And you yourself have said in the last 4 verses, you are the supreme authority, right? You yourself have said. And all these sages, right? They have all said, and the same thing I am also saying. So it is confirmed. Krishna's position is confirmed. To those who don't know, with proof, Arjun is confirming. Like that is this verse. So now let's read Srimad Bhagavatam.
It's very nice.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto. So we are finishing up with the 9th canto, 5th chapter. We have to read the last verse. The other day, if you remember, this is the Falashruti of Ambarisha Upakhyanam. Anyone who hears this, narrates it, what is the benediction? He will become a pure devotee, it is said. So then, there in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, Ambarish Maharaj, he left home, right? Why he left home? Well, that was said before. Left home. That's the point Srila Prabhupada highlighted. So the point is, one who is greed. Remember, I told you I will tell you about this greed from Madhurya Kadambini. So the point then was, anyone who hears about Ambarish Maharaj, translation is, anyone who hears about this pastime of Ambarish Maharaj will become a pure devotee. That's the benediction from Sukadev Goswami. Anyone who hears, narrates it, he will become a pure devotee. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, a devotee, how do you know that a devotee is advanced? He will have this greed or eagerness. He is not satisfied that, yes, now I have enough bhakti, now I will relax. No. And Prabhupada is giving, and Prabhupada is actually quoting Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. You know, people who go to dig gold, right? They go to dig gold, they keep digging, right? They want, so like that, they never feel like, oh, okay, it's enough, right? I have worked hard. No, they keep on doing it. Like that, Srila Prabhupada is saying, you're a millionaire. A millionaire won't think, I mean, we have millionaires, right? And they are owners of big companies, multinational companies. They are the wealthiest people in the whole world, top 5, top 10 wealthiest people. But have they stopped working? They can live peacefully for the rest of their life. They don't have to work. Isn't it? They have enough wealth. They can just live, and now without working, they can spend that money. But are they going to stop? They come up with newer and newer ideas, earning more and more wealth. This is the nature, right? Somebody who gets the taste for wealth, he just wants more and more. But the result of this is, he will only get repeated life in this material world. Again, birth, death, old age and disease, and you don't know in which species you will go. It's not necessary that again you'll take birth as a human being and again you'll get an opportunity to earn wealth. Not necessary. Because you don't know by what means. We know, we see, they're earning. Are they following the Vedic injunctions and earning their life honestly? All those things count. But the same mentality is there even in a devotee. Greed, that he's not satisfied. I have made so much advancement. Now, no, whatever, how much ever advancement he makes, he's always greedy for more and more and more. So in that context, I was telling you. So Srila Prabhupada said in the purport, Ambarish Maharaj also with the same intention, right? Although he was already, Mahabhagavad devotee in Grihastha ashram, still to focus completely on the Supreme Lord, he left home and went to the forest, like that we read. And also Prabhupada compared, when somebody is greedy in devotional service, what is the result? The result is he will be liberated and he will get I mean, he's already, if someone is rendering devotional service, he's already liberated. It's not like he will be liberated. But someone who is greedy for wealth or any other material things, the result is he'll get repeated bondage. That we saw. So I was telling you about those two leaves in, sadhana bhakti. So the seed of bhakti, right? When you plant it, I told you how it first germinates, right? And then first two leaves come. So there I kind of, got, I didn't recollect what those two leaves were. So I'm telling you now. So this plant, this seedling is sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti produces two leaves. What are these two leaves? If you remember from Nectar of Devotion, what are the characteristic features of sadhana bhakti? Bhakti Shastri students, what are the characteristic features of sadhana bhakti? What are the characters? Saujanya Mataji.
I don't remember. Need some hint.
6 characteristic features of bhakti. You remember?
In that order.
2 are for sadhana bhakti, plus 2 for bhava bhakti, and plus 2 for prema bhakti. So anyway, I'll just tell you so we don't lose time. So sadhana bhakti has 2 characteristic features, kleshagni and shubhada. Kleshagni means all kleshas are removed. All your sufferings, all pains are removed. Simply by practicing sadhana bhakti, your kleshas, your sufferings, your miseries are removed. That just comes as a natural byproduct of sadhana bhakti. And the second thing is shubhada. Shubhada means all auspicious qualities will come in you. And again, under shubhada, we saw there are different categories. One of them is you will love all living entities. The other one is all living, you will become dear to all living entities. All the qualities of the demigods will come in like that. So this is shubhada. So this shubhada and kleshagni are the characteristics of sadhana bhakti. When one is performing, again, sadhana bhakti means ananya bhakti. Yes, ananya bhakti means anya vilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulena krishna anushilana. Now, when one is performing sadhana bhakti, these characteristics will be visible in that person. Kleshagni and shubhada. All kleshas will be removed. That means he won't be suffering, he'll be very peaceful. He won't be feeling that he's suffering. Kleshas are removed and shubhada, all auspicious qualities, good qualities will come in him. So these two qualities are the two leaves that come from sadhana bhakti, from that seedling of bhakti seed, right? So again, this bhakti, sadhana bhakti itself, like when you plant a seed, first it grows into a seedling and then it grows into a nice young plant and then it grows more and more, then it produces flowers, then it produces fruits. Everything is coming from that seed only, isn't it? So that seed, bhakti seed, when you get that bhakti seed from a devotee, and the spiritual master is actually Guru Krishna Kripai by Bhakti Lata Bij. You get this by the mercy of Guru and by the mercy of Krishna, you get this seed. When the seed is planted, how do you nourish this seed? Shravan Kirtana Jale. Right? The watering process is by Shravanam and Kirtanam. Chanting Krishna's holy names, by hearing. This is the process of watering this seed. And then the seedling grows. First thing that comes out, right, as it starts growing, the two leaves that come. So this is sadhana bhakti, this plant. And as this plant grows more and more and it produces flowers, and the flowers are produced, those flowers are bhava bhakti. And then when the fruit is produced finally, that is prema bhakti. So sadhana bhakti itself, sadhana bhakti is the mother in whose womb Prema Bhakti is born. Understand? Now, when you perform sadhana bhakti, you know the stages, right? Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti. All these come under sadhana bhakti only. Up to Asakti, it is sadhana bhakti. But within the sadhana bhakti, there are two categories. One is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, the other one is Raganuga sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi and Raganuga. Okay? So, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti means in the initial stages, bhajana, when you're doing bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti is happening. There, you're driven by the rules and regulations. It is difficult to follow rules and regulations. Rise early in the morning, in the winter time, you don't feel like getting up, but you have to force yourself. It's Mangalarti time, I have to go. Or I have to cook the offering at a certain time. Today my body is not feeling well, but still I have to go because Krishna's offering at this time. You have to push yourself. Why? Rules, regulations. Krishna's offering has to be done at that time. You have to push yourself to understand. So pushing yourself is not always easy. There is some pain involved there. Physical pain is there. Sometimes mental pain is also there. Nevertheless, you do it anyway because it has to be done. Shastra says, Guru Maharaj has said, Acharyas have said, I must do it, so I will do it. I'll push myself and I'll do this. So this is called Vidhi. Vidhi means rules. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So within Sadhana Bhakti, there is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and then there is Raganuga. Raga means what? Raga means there is natural greed. So Raganuga Bhakti has two components in it. One is greed and the other one is there is intense affection for a relationship with Krishna. You have affection, an intense affection for a loving relationship. There are different relationships, right? So in Raganuga Bhakti, you have a particular attraction for a particular relationship, either a relationship as in Vatsalya Bhava or in Dasya Bhava or Sakhya Bhava, like that. You have an intense attraction. So in Sadhana Bhakti, you get, it is, the characteristics are Kleshagni and Shubhada. Okay? But within Sadhana Bhakti, there is Vaidhi and Raga. Vaidhi means it is difficult because it is driven by rules. Raga means it is driven by greed. Huh? And there it is not, because when you have love, like it's not like, oh, I have to do it. When you have that affection, you don't even care. It's called burden of love. Yes, it may, like a mother is holding her baby on her lap. Bhagavatam class, sometimes mothers sit with babies in their laps and their legs are hurting, but still they don't let the babies go because there is that love also and legs are also paining. But it is burden of love, right? You are not willing to give up. You're happy to hold. That's called burden of love. This example is also given elsewhere. But if we discuss all these examples, then we'll lose track of what we are talking of here some other time. But so this raga is characterized by these two. Greed, you want more and more and more, right? Greed. And then this affection for relationship with the Supreme Lord. So these leaves, two leaves, Kleshagni and Shubhada, you see, when you see a leaf, any leaf, the upper surface is very smooth. The lower surface is rough. And if you are a botany student or agricultural student, like when you're actually studying the leaves, you will see on the lower side, there will be, it's rough because there are hairs, right? Whereas on the top, it is glossy and smooth. You can even look at a tulsi leaf. The top part is glossy, soft, smooth, and the lower side is rough compared to the top. So the upper side of the leaf is raga. The raga is the king. Raga is the king. He has authority on the upper side of the leaf. Whereas Vaidhi sadhana, Vidhi has authority on the lower side. Basically, it means Raga Bhakti is smooth, Vidhi Bhakti can be painful because it's following rules and regulations. Now you may get a question. Now both Raga Anuga Bhakti and Vaidhi Bhakti, both are giving Kleshagni and Shubhada, isn't it? Because these are the characteristics of Sadhana Bhakti. All kleshas being removed and getting all auspicious qualities, these two are the characteristics of sadhana bhakti. Which sadhana bhakti? Are they the characteristics of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti or Raganuga sadhana bhakti? Both. Both of them gives kleshagni and shubhada. Now you may get question. So the kleshagni that happens because of Raganuga bhakti, that must be superior. Or the Shubhada that comes from Raganuga, because obviously it is said that Raganuga Bhakti is superior to Vaidhi Bhakti, no doubt about that. That is a fact. Raganuga Bhakti is superior to Vaidhi Bhakti. You are not pushed by rules. You have a spontaneous, that's called spontaneous devotional service. You have that spontaneity to render devotional service to the Lord. It is superior to Vaidhi Bhakti, no doubt about that. So does that also mean that the Shubhada that is coming, Kleshagni that is happening because of Raganuga Bhakti, is that more? You get more, or your kleshas are removed, more amount of kleshas are removed by Raganuga Bhakti, or the kleshas are removed quickly by Raganuga Bhakti? Is it like that? No. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says no. Whether Raganuga Bhakti or Vaidhi Bhakti, removal of kleshas and getting of Shubhada is the same. It is the same. But Raganuga Bhakti is like the upper glossy soft leaf, upper side of the leaf, whereas the lower side of the leaf is Vaidhi, because Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is driven by strict rules and regulations which you have to follow, and Raganuga Bhakti is driven by greed as well as affection for a relationship with Krishna. So here Prabhupada said that the exalted position of a devotee when he has greed. When he has greed, he wants more and more. That shows the exalted position of his bhakti. Giving the example of Ambarish Maharaj, that although he was a devotee at home, still he left and he went. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining from that angle. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining in that angle that Ambarish Maharaj, even though he was well situated, still he wanted to focus completely only on Krishna all the time. But he was doing that already. But still, right, he was also managing the kingdom, etc. But this is the greed. The point that you're supposed to catch from this explanation is the greed of a devotee. It is never satiated. He wants more and more and more. And when someone comes to this point of greed, right, he wants more. Again, this does not mean like materially greed means what? Sometimes this clashes, isn't it, with material mentality. I want more service, so I'll just push everyone aside. I'll take everything for myself. Not like that. Not like that. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, greed is there to please Krishna. Greed is there to give the best to Krishna, whatever pleases Krishna the most, right? That's what. It's not about me getting everything for myself. That's material mentality. That's material mentality. I want a, because you will see there what comes, crops in there is again profit, adoration, distinction. Adoration, everyone will see that I have done this. Everyone will see that I am such a nice devotee. They'll say, wow, wow, very nice. Right? I did this service, I did. But under that, I'm thinking, oh, see, I'm a nice devotee, I'm a nice devotee. I'm so greedy, I want more and more service. So, humility is very, very important. Service to the spiritual masters, chanting attentively, in the right mood, because these are all like weeds coming around that creeper of bhakti. And weeds, the speciality of weeds, anyone who has, I know many devotees have this experience of gardening. The speciality of weeds is they look just like the actual plant. And we mistake them to be the actual plant. But actually, they are not the actual plant, they are weeds. And what they are doing is whatever water and whatever food you're giving to the plant, these weeds are taking everything away. And after some time soon, you will see the original plant has become thin and lanky, and the weeds are just robust, growing. So that's what happens with our bhakti also. If we don't take care properly about our chanting, our mood of service, humility, right? If we don't do it properly, on one hand we are doing, like we got the seed, the plant is there, but all these weeds are growing nicely, and we are thinking, I'm doing bhakti, I'm pouring water and I'm putting food, but all the weeds are taking up everything, right? So, under the garb of devotional service, thinking that I'm greedy for devotional service, so this means I'm now in Raganuga Bhakti, right? Because I'm greedy, I want more and more devotional service, so I'm doing Raganuga Bhakti. But in reality, I may be feeding the weeds of, profit, adoration, and distinction, which are hidden because they look just like the bhakti. So we have to be careful about that. So that is about greed. So, but otherwise, if you are actually progressing nicely, then you will have greed like Ambarish Maharaj. So how do you know what is real greed? Yeah, you are concerned about Krishna's pleasure, not about whether you get it or not, not whether you are recognized or not, right? You will be more concerned about what is pleasing to Krishna. And you can also take it for granted Krishna is pleased with your humility. I think I told you this story some days ago, not story, incident that happened. I was listening to my Guru Maharaj's glorification of Srila Prabhupada some days ago, or his memories of Srila Prabhupada. So I think I told, but anyway, I said, right? So about Srila Prabhupada was in New Vrindavan, and they told Radhanath Maharaj to garland Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada got off the car and he walked into the temple, and Maharaj was walking behind with the tray of garland. After he sits on Vyasasana, then he's supposed to put the garland. So he followed Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada finally taking darshan sat down on the Vyasasana. Now Maharaj was supposed to, back then he was not Maharaj, he was a brahmachari. There were many sannyasi disciples of Srila Prabhupada. He was supposed to garland Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada also looked at him and indicated to him with his eyes, yes, put on the garland. And Maharaj says he felt shy. So he was just holding the garland for a long time. And Srila Prabhupada was waiting and he was looking up, put the garland on, put the garland on. And he just couldn't do it. He was just standing there with the garland. And then next to him was one sannyasi god brother, right? So he just gave it to him. You put it on, Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj says, Srila Prabhupada didn't say anything in words, yet he said so much through his eyes, through his glance. So Srila Prabhupada acknowledged Maharaj is giving the garland to a senior because saying that, yes, this is the right attitude, right? Your service to the spiritual master is by serving through those who are superior to you, who are senior to you, and you give it in their hand and they put it on Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada actually appreciated that, Maharaj says. So, similarly, yeah, anyway, I don't know why I said this, but let's get back to Bhagavatam. There was some point, but I just got, now I'm not able to remember.
Mataji, can I ask one thing? Like, what is that Bahiranga Shakti you're talking about?
External energy, Maya Shakti.
Okay, excellent. And Tata Shakti is material.
Marginal.
Marginal, I'm sorry.
So Krishna's energies are broadly three: internal, external, and marginal. Internal means the spiritual world, all his, Srimati Radharani, right? All the gopis, all the queens, they're all internal energy. Lakshmi Devi's, this is the internal energy, Swarupa Shakti, internal energy. Internal energy means it's internal to Krishna. Just now we saw Param Dhama, his body is him, right? So it's inside him means inside his body only. So that is internal energy. So it's not separate from him. It's not outside of him. It's part of him. That is internal energy. Srimati Radharani is not separate from Krishna. She is inside. Lakshmi Devi is not separate from Lord Vishnu. She is inside of him. Swarupa Shakti or internal energy. Then there is marginal. Marginal energy has this tendency, or marginal is tata. Tata means, river, right? There is that line between the river and land. That line is called tata, right? So in the beach we see sometimes the water flows on that and the tata goes further away, right? It's covered by water, and sometimes the water goes back and it is land. That means this Tatastha Shakti can either come under the internal energy or it can come under the external energy. That is why it is Tata in the middle. Sometimes under internal, sometimes under external. And then the third energy is called external, which is outside of Krishna. It's not inside of Krishna, it is outside of Krishna. So our body, material body, in the material world, our body is made of this external energy which is outside of Krishna. When we become liberated, when we go back to the spiritual world, then we will have a body which is made of his internal energy inside of Krishna. Is that clear, Mataji?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So let's just read the last verse. We didn't even read one verse today. Text 28. Last verse of chapter 5. I think Isha read the purport yesterday.
No, Mataji, it was Arunita and Ashish's turn, Achintadev's turn.
You read yesterday.
I read yesterday last, yeah.
Acha. Okay. I was mistaken. I thought Prabhuji was reading the purport. I said, no, you read the translation. Isn't it? Mataji?
No, Mataji, I said I will read it because it was purport.
Oh, it was purport.
By mistake, remember Krishna Ashish read this thing because I was not sure who was supposed to read. And then you said, no, we are supposed to read.
Acha. Okay. So it's your turn now. Text 28.
No, Mataji already read Mataji. Ananya Mataji read yesterday.
Ananya Mataji read, Aditi Lata Mataji read, Achintadev Prabhu and Arunita read. Ambarishasya charitam ye shrinvanti mahatmanaha muktim prayanti te sarve bhaktya Vishnu prasadataha. Who will read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
By the grace of the Lord, those who hear about the activities of Maharaj Ambarish, the great devotee, certainly become liberated or become devotees without delay.
Yes. So certainly anyone who hears about the activities of Maharaj Ambarish, they will certainly become liberated or become devotees without delay. Purport? Yes, Arunita.
Thus
Yes, and
concluding on the purports of the ninth canto, fifth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Durvasa Muni's Life Spared.
yes. So this chapter 5 is entitled Durvasa Muni's Life Spared. The previous chapter was Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. So now we are going to chapter 6. So anyway, we'll read a little bit. Chapter 6, the downfall of Saubhari Muni. After describing the descendants of Maharaj Ambarish, Sukadev Goswami described all the kings from Shashada to Mandhata. And in this connection, he also described how the great sage Saubhari married the daughters of Mandhata. So I'll just read the summary and then we will discuss later. Maharaj Ambarish had 3 sons named Virupa, Ketuman and Shambhu. So we are going to the descendants of Ambarish Maharaj. The son of Virupa was Rishadashva and his son was Rathitara. Rathitara had no sons. But when he requested the favor of the great sage Angira, the sage begot several sons in the womb of Rathitara's wife. When the sons were born, they became the dynasty of Angira Rishi and of Rathitara. The son of Manu was Ikshvaku, who had 100 sons. Okay, so Manu. Which Manu are we talking? Vaivasvata Manu. Vaivasvata Manu had 10 sons. Of course, first he had Suyagya, what's the name? Sudyumna. And after that he had 10 sons. Of the 10 sons, the first is Ikshvaku. So we read about the descendants of the remaining 9 first, and then we are reading about Ikshvaku Maharaj. He's an important first son. Okay. So the son of Manu was Ikshvaku, who had 100 sons, of whom Vikukshi, Nimi and Dandaka were the eldest. The sons of Maharaj Ikshvaku became kings of different parts of the world. Because of violating sacrificial rules and regulations, one of these sons, Vikukshi, was banished from the kingdom. By the mercy of Vashishta and the power of mystic yoga, Maharaj Ikshvaku attained liberation after giving up his material body. When Maharaj Ikshvaku expired, his son Vikukshi returned and took charge of the kingdom. He performed various types of sacrifices and thus he pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This Vikukshi later became celebrated as Shashada. Vikukshi's son fought with the demons for the sake of the demigods, and because of his valuable service, he became famous as Puranjaya, Indravaha, and Kakutstha. The son of Puranjaya was Anena, the son of Anena was Prithu, and the son of Prithu was Vishwagandhi. The son of Vishwagandhi was Chandra. The son of Chandra was Yuvanashva, and his son was Shravasta, who constructed Shravasti Puri. The son of Shravasta was Brihadashva. Brihadashva's son Kauvala Yashva killed a demon named Dhundu, and thus he became celebrated as Dhundumara, the killer of Dhundu. The sons of the killer of Dhundu were Dridhashva, Kapilashva, and Bhadrashva. He also had thousands of other sons, but they burned to ashes in the fire emanating from Dhundu. The son of Dridhashva was Haryashva. Haryashva Prabhu. The son of Dridhashva was Haryashva. The son of Haryashva was Nikumbha. The son of Nikumbha was Bahulashva. And the son of Bahulashva was Krishashva. The son of Krishashva was Senajit, and his son was Yuvanashva. Yuvanashva married 100 wives, but he had no sons, and therefore he entered the forest. In the forest, the sages performed a sacrifice known as Indra Yagya on his behalf. Once, however, the king became so thirsty in the forest that he drank the water kept for performing yagya. Consequently, after some time, a son came forth from the right side of his abdomen. The son, who was very beautiful, was crying to drink breast milk, and Indra gave the child his index finger to suck. Thus, the son became known as Mandhata. In due course of time, Yuvanashva achieved perfection by performing austerities. Thereafter, Mandhata became the emperor and ruled the earth, which consists of 7 islands. Thieves and rogues were very much afraid of this powerful king, and therefore the king was known as Trasadasyu, meaning one who is very fearful to rogues and thieves. Mandhata begot sons in the womb of his wife Bindumati. These sons were Purukutsa, Ambarisha, and Muchukunda. These 3 sons had 50 sisters, all of whom became wives of the great sage known as Saubhari. In this connection, Sukadeva Goswami described the history of Saubhari Muni, who, because of sensual agitation caused by fish, fell from his yoga and wanted to marry all the daughters of Mandhata for sexual pleasure. Later, Saubhari Muni became very regretful. Thus, he accepted the order of Vanaprastha, performed very severe austerities, and thus attained perfection. In this regard, Sukadeva Goswami described how Saubhari Muni's wives also became perfect. I will just start text 1. Aditi Lata Mataji will read so that we can start with the next person tomorrow. Sri Shuka Uvacha Virupah Ketuman Chambur Ambarisha Sutastrayaha Virupat Prishadashvobhut Tatputrastu Rathitaraha.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada, all glory to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Translation. Sukdev Goswami said, O Maharaj Parikshit, Ambarish had 3 sons named Virupa, Kutumam, and Sambhu. From Virupa came a son named Prashadasva, and from Prashadasva came a son named Rithitara.
Yeah, so we will thank you. Prabhuji, you didn't recite Bhagavad Gita, right?
Mataji, I was running for catching Geet's bus. I was delayed.
Do you want to recite?
If you give me a chance.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 12 to 13. Please repeat. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Vacha
Param Brahma Param Dhama
Param Brahma Param Dhama
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Pavitram Paramam Bhava
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum
Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve
Ayustam Risham Sarve
Devarshir Naradastatha
Deva Rishir Naras Dasta Tatha
Asito Devalo Vyasaha
Asito Devalo Vyasaha
Swayam Chaiva Bravishime.
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisime. Translation. Arjuna said, You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asit, Davala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and you yourself are declaring it to me. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I just got news that today is little Madhavi's birthday. Second, she's 2 years, right, Mataji? Priyanka Haripriya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
So she's entering her terrible 2s now. So Mataji is requesting all devotees to please shower your blessings and offer your prayers for Madhavi. And Madhavi has been attending Bhagavatam classes even before she was born and ever since she is born also. So she's a very fortunate soul. So my sincere prayers and best wishes uh, for Madhavi's continued development, growth in Krishna consciousness. So,
Thank you very much, Mataji.
should we sing for Madhavi?
Yes, Mataji. Happy birthday, happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Wish you very
Krishna
happy.
conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Say
You're
thank you.
really sweet. Okay.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday,
Say
Madhavi.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
So very blessed Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Priyanka Mataji, is she awake? Is she there with you?
Yeah, she's very active. She's very active. She'll be there.
We can sing in front of her.
Yeah. She says Hare Krishna and everything.
So we can maybe before ending the class we can sing for Madhavi. Let me.
Just a special feature of Madhavi, she sings Narsimha prayer also.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. She dances also in Kirtan.
Dances.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Even
So-
she puts water for Tulsi Devi also takes production.
So we were supposed to start, but it's already we are 15 minutes over time. We were supposed to start reading Bhagavad Gita again, and we were going to start with introduction. Somehow, it's not happening. So
Mataji, at least start little bit today.
start right, little bit. That's what I was thinking. But
Ekadasi, 9th day.
today is Ekadasi
For us, yes. Indra.
already.
Yeah.
Are you
No,
sure?
Mataji. It's not Ekadashi today.
It is. What are you talking
It's
about?
not Ekadashi.
Just got over.
Kashi is on 10th, Mataji.
Finished.
Fasting is on 11th.
Oh, Indra Ekadasi, no?
No, Mataji. Yeah, her date of birth as such is like her birth was on Indra Ekachi, but today is 2nd October. So I was thinking in that way. Birthday.
Acha. So calendar, English calendar, Western.
Yeah, English calendar. Yeah. Otherwise, she born on Indra Ekachi day. Yeah, and that's on 10th or fast. Ekachi is on 10th, but fasting is on 11th.
Oh, it's next
That's-
week. We are already.
Yes, Mat.
We are already doing Ekadasi today. Oh my God.
I was thinking just now Ekadasi was over just recently and it's back again so soon.
I was thinking so many fasting we did, no, for all appearance and disappearance. So that's
We just had Bhadra Purnima just recently, so
yeah.
take a few days before we get the next Ekadasi. Okay, so let's read. Let's begin Bhagavad Gita. So we are beginning Bhagavad Gita on Madhavi's birthday, October 2nd. We are going to start the second round of Bhagavad Gita. And we're going to read the introduction.
For
We'll read
a
everything.
second birthday, second time.
Second time. So let's just read everything cover to cover, right? I'll just start with the setting the scene today. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, setting the scene. Although widely published and read by itself, Bhagavad Gita originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning of this age, some 50 centuries ago, 5,000 years ago, that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend and devotee Arjun. Their discourse, one of the greatest philosophical and religious dialogues known to man, took place just before the onset of war, a great fratricidal conflict between the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra and on the opposing side their cousins, the Pandavas or sons of Pandu. Dhritarashtra and Pandu were brothers born in the Kuru dynasty, descending from King Bharata, a former ruler of the earth, from whom the name Mahabharat derives. Because Dhritarashtra, the elder brother, was born blind, the throne that otherwise would have been his was passed down to the younger brother Pandu. When Pandu died at an early age, his 5 children, Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev, came under the care of Dhritarashtra, who in effect became, for the time being, the king. Thus, the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu grew up in the same royal household. Both were trained in the military arts by the expert Drona and counseled by the revered grandfather of the clan Bhishma. Yet the sons of Dhritarashtra, especially the eldest Duryodhan, hated and envied the Pandavas, and the blind and weak-minded Dhritarashtra wanted his own sons, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom. Thus, Duryodhan, with Dhritarashtra's consent, plotted to kill the young sons of Pandu, and it was only by the careful protection of their uncle Vidura and their cousin Lord Krishna that the Pandavas escaped the many attempts against their lives. Now Lord Krishna was not an ordinary man, but the Supreme Godhead himself, who had descended to earth and was playing the role of a prince in a contemporary dynasty. In this role, he was also the nephew of Pandu's wife Kunti, or Pritha, the mother of the Pandavas. So, both as a relative and as the eternal upholder of religion, Krishna favored the righteous sons of Pandu and protected them. Ultimately, however, the clever Duryodhan challenged the Pandavas to a gambling match. In the course of that fateful tournament, Duryodhan and his brothers took possession of Draupadi, the chaste and devoted wife of the Pandavas, and insultingly tried to strip her naked before the entire assembly of princes and kings. Krishna's divine intervention saved her, but the gambling, which was rigged, cheated the Pandavas of their kingdom and forced them into 13 years of exile. Upon returning from exile, the Pandavas rightfully requested their kingdom from Duryodhan, who bluntly refused to yield it. Duty bound as princes to serve in public administration, the 5 Pandavas reduced their request to a mere 5 villages. But Duryodhan arrogantly replied that he wouldn't spare them enough land into which to drive a pin. Throughout all this, the Pandavas had been consistently tolerant and forbearing, but now war seemed inevitable. Nonetheless, as the princes of the world divided, some siding with the sons of Dhritarashtra, others with the Pandavas, Krishna himself took the role of messenger for the sons of Pandu and went to the court of Dhritarashtra to plead for peace. When his pleas were refused, war was now certain. The Pandavas, men of the highest moral stature, recognized Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, whereas the impious sons of Dhritarashtra did not. Yet, Krishna offered to enter the war according to the desire of the antagonists. As God, he would not personally fight, but whoever so desired might avail himself of Krishna's army, and the other side could have Krishna himself as an advisor and helper. Duryodhan, the political genius, snatched at Krishna's armed forces, while the Pandavas were equally eager to have Krishna himself. In this way, Krishna became the charioteer of Arjun, taking it upon himself to drive the fabled bowman's chariot. This brings us to the point at which Bhagavad Gita begins, with the 2 armies arrayed, ready for combat, and Dhritarashtra anxiously inquiring of his secretary Sanjaya What did they do? The scene is set with only the need for a brief note regarding this translation and commentary. The general pattern translators have followed in rendering Bhagavad Gita into English, the general pattern translators have followed in rendering Bhagavad Gita into English has been to brush aside the person Krishna, to make room for their own concepts and philosophies. The history of the Mahabharata is taken as quaint mythology, and Krishna becomes a poetic device for presenting the ideas of some anonymous genius, or at best, he becomes a minor historical personage. But the person Krishna is both the goal and the substance of Bhagavad Gita, so far as the Gita speaks of itself. This translation, then, and the commentary that accompanies it propose to direct the reader to Krishna rather than away from him. The Bhagavad Gita thus becomes wholly consistent and comprehensible, since Krishna is the speaker of the Gita and its ultimate goal as well. The Bhagavad Gita, as it is, presents this great scripture in its true terms, the publishers. So we have completed setting the scene. I'll just read the dedication. To Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhasha commentary on Vedanta philosophy. And then tomorrow we will read the preface, and then we'll begin the introduction. So we are not reading Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita today. It's already very, very late. And thank you, dear devotees. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. We will sing happy birthday to Madhavi, and we will end the session here. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna, dear Madhavi. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Rama to you. Hare Rama to you. Hare Rama, dear Madhavi. Hare Rama to you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare
Hare Krishna, thank you. Acha, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Madhavi.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Sorry, Shri.
No problem. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Madhavi. Thank you, Mataji.